Ethan Hale was used to being in control. As the CEO of a billion-dollar company and a single father, he had mastered boardrooms and bedtime stories alike. But when his investors invited him to a black-tie gala, panic set in, not because of business, but because of appearances. Everyone expected him to arrive with a date. Out of desperation, he did something he never imagined. He hired an escort to play his girlfriend for one night. Her name was Clara. Polished yet gentle, she blended in effortlessly at the party. She laughed at Ethan's awkward jokes, kept conversations flowing, and even managed to make him forget, for a moment, that this was all pretend. But the real surprise came later that night, when Ethan's 6-year-old daughter, Lily, peeked out from her bedroom. Shy and cautious with strangers, Lily usually kept her distance. Yet something about Clara's warm smile pulled her in. Within minutes, Clara was sitting cross-legged on the floor, helping Lily piece together a jigsaw puzzle. "Daddy," Lily whispered with wide, hopeful eyes, "can she stay forever?" Ethan froze. His world, carefully managed and tightly controlled, suddenly felt shaky. This wasn't part of the plan. Clara was supposed to leave after tonight. But in that one innocent question, Ethan realized something he had long buried. His daughter wasn't the only one longing for someone to stay. And maybe, just maybe, neither was he. Ethan couldn't shake Lily's words from his mind. "Can she stay forever?" echoed like a question he couldn't answer. Clara had left that night with a polite smile, promising nothing, expecting nothing. It was supposed to end there. But the next morning, as Ethan rushed to drop Lily at school, he spotted Clara standing outside the cafe across the street. She wasn't dressed in a glamorous gown this time, just jeans and a cozy sweater. She looked real. "Clara?" Ethan asked, surprised. She laughed softly. "I live around here, Ethan. Last night wasn't my whole life, you know." For the first time, Ethan saw her not as a hired date, but as a person, someone who had a story, just like him. Lily tugged at his sleeve, her eyes lighting up. "Daddy, can we invite her for pancakes?" Clara hesitated, but Ethan nodded. And just like that, a casual breakfast turned into something more. Clara listened to Lily chatter about school, drew smiley faces in syrup, and laughed when Ethan nearly burned the toast. The warmth in the kitchen felt foreign, yet strangely right. As Clara left, Ethan thanked her, almost too sincerely. She smiled, but her eyes carried a weight he didn't understand. "I'm glad I met you both," she said softly. "But don't get too used to me. I'm not really the forever type." Her words stung more than Ethan expected. For years, he had convinced himself he didn't need anyone. But watching Clara disappear down the street, with Lily's little hands pressed against the window, Ethan realized his carefully guarded heart was no longer just his own. Someone else, someone small, hopeful, and innocent, had already let Clara in. Days turned into weeks, and Clara became an unspoken part of Ethan and Lily's life. She dropped by after work, helped with homework, and even joined them for Sunday walks in the park. For the first time in years, Ethan saw Lily's laughter return, bright and free. And for the first time in years, he felt less alone. But there was something about Clara Ethan couldn't quite place. Behind her warm smile and gentle presence, shadows lingered. He noticed how she always deflected questions about her family, or how her eyes clouded whenever Lily mentioned forever. One evening, after Lily had fallen asleep with Clara reading by her side, Ethan walked her to the door. "You're amazing with her," he said quietly. "But I can't help wondering, what's your story, Clara?" She froze. For a moment, her mask slipped. "You wouldn't understand," she whispered. "Try me." Her eyes shimmered, but she shook her head. "I wasn't supposed to get close. I was hired to be temporary. And I've always been temporary." Before Ethan could reply, she pulled away, her hands trembling. "I should go." That night, Ethan lay awake replaying her words. Temporary. The one thing his daughter didn't need, another person walking out of her life. The next morning, Lily asked innocently, "Is Clara coming for pancakes today?" Ethan's throat tightened. He wanted to say yes. He wanted to believe Clara could stay. But deep down, he knew, Clara was hiding something. And whatever it was, it could shatter the fragile happiness that had just begun to bloom in their lives. Ethan couldn't ignore it any longer. Clara's smile lit up their world, but her eyes told another story. One evening, after dropping Lily off at a friend's house, Ethan asked Clara to stay for coffee. She agreed, though unease flickered in her expression. "Clara," Ethan began gently, "if we're going to keep letting you into Lily's life, I need to know who you really are." She set down her cup, her hands trembling. "I told myself I wouldn't do this," she whispered. "But you deserve the truth." Ethan leaned forward. "Then tell me." Clara drew a shaky breath. "I wasn't always someone people wanted around. I grew up in foster care, bounced from one house to another. Nobody ever kept me. When I turned 18, I aged out, alone, with no one to fall back on. I started escort work just to survive. It wasn't glamorous, Ethan. It was survival." Her voice cracked, and tears pooled in her eyes. "That's why I told you I'm temporary. Because all my life, people have reminded me I don't belong. And I can't," she broke off, her voice trembling, "I can't let Lily get attached to me, only for me to fail her the way everyone failed me." Ethan's chest tightened. For once, the powerful CEO had no answers, no quick solutions. All he saw was a woman carrying scars deeper than she let anyone see. "You're wrong," he said softly. "You belong more than you know. And maybe Lily isn't the only one who needs you. Maybe, we both do." Clara's tears fell freely then, her walls crumbling. But with them came something Ethan hadn't seen before, hope. Clara tried to push his words away, but they clung to her heart. For days she avoided Ethan's calls, afraid of the hope stirring inside her. She had lived too long expecting doors to close, people to leave, love to fade. Forever was a word that had never belonged to her. But one rainy evening, fate made the choice for her. Lily showed up at Clara's tiny apartment, holding Ethan's hand, clutching a soggy drawing. "I made this for you," Lily said shyly, lifting the picture of 3 stick figures, Ethan, Lily, and Clara, holding hands under a big yellow sun. At the top, in crooked letters, she had written, "Our family." Clara's knees buckled. She pressed the paper to her chest, tears spilling freely. "Lily," she whispered. Ethan's voice was low, steady. "You don't have to be temporary anymore, Clara. We don't need perfect. We just need real. Stay." Clara looked from Ethan's steady gaze to Lily's hopeful smile. For the first time in her life, she saw a door not closing, but opening. And she realized, maybe she wasn't the broken one after all. Maybe she was exactly what they needed. She knelt, hugging Lily tight. "Yes, sweetheart," she whispered through her tears. "I'll stay. Forever." Ethan felt something inside him shift, an armor he had carried for years falling away. For once, he wasn't the CEO in control. He was simply a father, and a man finally ready to love again. That night, in a small apartment warmed by laughter and hope, 3 broken hearts began to heal, together. Because sometimes family isn't the one you're born into. It's the one brave enough to choose you.